Hi, I'm Trish Giacconi, the CEO of the Family Life Center, and today I have with me
Marissa Chavez.
And Marissa, who are you at the Family Life Center?
I've had many roles at the Family Life Center, but I am currently the sexual assault coordinator.
Okay, so today I asked Marissa to join us because we haven't had an opportunity to talk a whole lot about our sexual assault services here at the Family Life Center. And we've been in this community for over 30 years. And we were originally started as the Emergency Domestic Violence Shelter. And back in 2015, we became the Certified Rape Crisis Center for Flagler County. And so we provide lots of services for victims, primary and secondary, not just the emergency intervention and accompaniment, but we also provide our crisis helpline for victims of rape or sexual abuse, and supportive services, and so that looks differently for any victim. And a victim can identify that they need services years after their crisis has happened or their victimization has happened. It doesn't mean that they were a recent victim. It could have been 10 years ago, and we are still here to provide support. Being the victim of a rape or sexual assault is something that stays with you for a very, very long time, really changes your life. And so I specifically asked Marissa to be here. Marissa's been with us for a lot of years, and like she said, has done a lot of programs. And here recently, she's taken over our sexual assault services program. And I wanted her to talk a little bit about kind of getting the message out to our community, in particular using our social media platforms. So Marissa, tell us a little bit about, so this is our fourth time doing this, and I'm going to tell you, still not any more tech savvy than I was 4 weeks ago. Not sure what TikTok is. I know my kids do it, but I don't really know what it is. But it's something to do with social media. That's as much as I know. So take it away, Marissa.
Well, even with TikTok, with myself, older, 30-year-olds and above aren't supposed to be on TikTok, but with quarantine and things like that, it became kind of an outlet to kind of just gaze and look at videos and kind of take the moment to see what other people were doing around the world during quarantine. It turned out that during April, which was Sexual Assault Awareness Month, I came across a video, which I posted on our Facebook page, about a rape survivor who took the moment to demonstrate this video and showcase what was happening and what had happened to her during her sexual violence experience, which speaks volumes for a survivor to be able to take the minute to record a video, speak about, without any words, about what took place to her during her sexual assault for the world to see.
Mm-hmm. So if I understand correctly, and I did watch the video, it really offers a voice to victims of rape and sexual abuse, and sexual harassment and sexual assault, which so often is taken from them. And so in this instance, if I recall correctly, there was conversation about what the victim was wearing.
Yes.
At the time of her sexual assault. And I know that comes up a lot. And for us old school people, we remember the movie The Accused. And that came up back in that movie. For you young people, you might want to, check it out. But Marissa, how often do you hear about victims' clothing? What were they wearing? Is that a factor in why this happened to them?
That is normally what people go towards when they discuss about a rape is, well, what was she wearing? What were they wearing? What were they doing? And we need to kind of get away from that victim blaming where it isn't an excuse for what I'm wearing, what I'm doing, or what takes place during that event.
Mm-hmm. So I often, for those of you who know me know I have 4 children. And so I often have said to my kids over the years, now I'm not promoting this, but I just want to say that, I said, if you're walking down the street butt naked without a single solitary article of clothing, it still does not give anyone the right to touch you without your permission, without your consent. And so if you are dressed, regardless of what you're wearing, it doesn't give someone the right to touch you without your consent. And so often we get together and one of the first questions we ask victims is, what are you wearing? What were you wearing? Where were you? How much did you drink? What time of night? Didn't you know better? Aren't you smarter than that? I mean, these are all things that we've heard in our community, and so we want to dispel that myth. It's not about smart or not smart. It's not about wearing a short skirt or cootie cutters or jeans or anything like that. I know. Okay, just for the record, Gary's behind the scenes, and I said cootie cutters, and so he suddenly gives me a face. I'm sorry, I'm dating myself. But I'm just saying, it's not about what you're wearing. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. No one has the right to touch you without your consent. And your knowing, accepting, confirming consent. So if you're intoxicated,
Right.
that's not an excuse. If you're unconscious, you cannot give consent. Again, you could be butt naked. It doesn't matter. They don't have the right to touch you.
Which also brings up a topic of, especially while in the community and things like that, about, you know, especially us reopening and going back out and, you know, being around people and drinking. And just because if you go out and get completely hammered does not mean that someone should touch you and someone should violate you in a way because you couldn't say yes or no.
Right.
And we know it happens, and what happens with survivors after an assault takes place is that they don't want to speak up because they don't want it to turn into this he said, she said, I don't remember, you know, topics like that is what also comes up when people are talking about what happened from a night out.
And I just say that so often what we've encountered from victims that have sought services is there's a lot of guilt and a lot of shame that victims carry. And one of the things that I really want to impress upon our community is that it is very difficult for a victim to come forward, regardless of whether or not there's a criminal prosecution. It is very difficult for victims to come forward because typically we as the community, we strip them down, right? We go through them. What were they wearing? What were they doing? How much did they drink? How old were they? They know that that's not a good part of town or whatever it may be. And so we kind of put that on victims and say, oh, you know, it's your fault. And so with the advent of our Start by Believing campaign that we started a few years ago, you know, we have to take a moment to think, if someone is in a car accident or on the bus and the bus gets into an accident, you know, we don't say to that victim, oh, you shouldn't have taken the bus. You shouldn't have been in that car. You shouldn't have. That's not what we say. When people are in a car accident, we reach out and we hug and we love and we support and we say, okay, it was a terrible thing that happened and we're here for you. And so we at the Family Life Center, we do the same thing with victims of sexual abuse and sexual assault. We are here for you. We want to make sure that you know that there's a place that you can come and talk about it without judgment. And we want to help you to rid the shame because it wasn't your fault. You didn't deserve it. And so victims always have a place here. No matter pandemic or not, we are here. And so Marissa would be, I'm sure, happy to have people to talk to, other than me.
And also just that if something does happen, that's what our hotline is for, which you can call at 386-437-3505. Speak to an advocate any time of day, night, whenever. And if you want to, you can. If something has happened to you and you need someone to talk to, you don't have to call law enforcement. You can call and speak to one of our advocates, and they will help you through that process of what comes after a situation happens.
And I just want to reiterate the importance of choice. You know, victims have a choice, and they have options. And so we are here to help any victim, whether it was 5 days ago, 5 years ago, or 15 years ago. We are here to help, and we'd love to. We'd love to help you and love to walk this walk with you. So please reach out. Don't be afraid to do it. Our crisis hotline number again is 386-437-3505. And if you have any ideas about any way to get the message out to our young people about healthy relationships and experiences, or you want to hear us talk about something in particular, feel free to reach out to Gary at FamilyLifeCenterFlagler.org. Today he's behind the scenes, but sometimes he's here with me on the couch. and let us know what you want us to talk about and what you want to hear. Otherwise, I think we're good for today. Yes, Marissa?
We are here for you. Please give us calls. Feel free to call the hotline. Just feel free to give us a call and talk to us.
So thank you so much for supporting the Family Life Center, and we look forward to talking to you and getting to know a little bit more about what we do here in this community. Thanks.